Welcome to Hong Kong Brief. The content of the briefing includes: Hong Kong stocks recover from 14-month low as 4-day rout deemed excessive. Investment in Hong Kong property set for turnaround in 2024, Collier says. Hong Kong business, not national security, tops Davos discussions, finance chief. Belt-tightening Hong Kong needs to learn to avoid white elephant projects. Son Heung-min sees off Ronaldo to win Asian prize for 7th year in a row. Hong Kong stocks recover from 14-month low as 4-day rout deemed excessive. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong stocks rebounded on speculation that the recent 4-day rout in the city's benchmark index was excessive. The Hang Seng Index rose 0.5% as a technical indicator showed that the market was oversold and due for a reversal. This came after the gauge had slumped 6.3% since last Friday to its lowest level since October 2022. Meanwhile, the tech index climbed 0.4% and the Shanghai Composite Index extended its retreat by 1.9%. Investment in Hong Kong property set for turnaround in 2024, Collier says. South China Morning Post. Investment in Hong Kong property fell by 28% to 37 billion Hong Kong dollars, $4.73 billion, in 2023, the lowest level since the 2008 financial crisis, but is expected to rise to 50 billion Hong Kong dollars in 2024, according to property consultancy Colliers. The expected cut in interest rates and government initiatives promoting Hong Kong as a business hub will help to improve investment sentiment and attract more investors to the city. Last year, borrowing costs surged to a 22-year high, with the Hong Kong Monetary Authority hiking interest rates by a cumulative 5.25% since March 2022. Hong Kong business, not national security, tops Davos discussions, finance chief. South China Morning Post. Global business and political leaders attending the World Economic Forum in Davos have expressed more concern about Hong Kong's economic developments than the impending national security legislation, according to Hong Kong's finance chief, Paul Chan Imopa. Chan said that participants were receptive to the city and impressed by its achievements, and that the main concern expressed by business leaders was Hong Kong's economic development rather than the national security law required under Article 23 of the city's Basic Law Mini-Constitution. Belt-tightening Hong Kong needs to learn to avoid white elephant projects. South China Morning Post. The Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge and the Kai Tak Cruise Terminal have been labeled as white elephants due to their poor design, lack of functionality, and high costs. The author argues that these projects were poorly conceived and have failed to attract sufficient usage to cover their expenses. The article suggests that rigorous feasibility studies and detailed projections are necessary to justify the need for infrastructure projects and prevent them from becoming white elephants. The author also calls for a re-evaluation of development projects in the pipeline that are raising concerns. Son Heung-min sees off Ronaldo to win Asian prize for 7th year in a row. South China Morning Post. Son Heung-min has won the title of Best Footballer in Asia for the 7th consecutive year. The award, which is open to players from Asia or those who play on the continent, saw Son beat off competition from Kim Min-jae and Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo scored 38 goals in 44 games for Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia in 2023 but finished behind Son and Kim in the vote. Son was outstanding for Tottenham Hotspur, scoring 12 goals after Harry Kane left for Bayern Munich. He also scored 8 goals for South Korea and finished the year with 27 goals overall. China hopes for dragon babies as population decline gathers pace. Financial Times. China's population fell for the second year in a row in 2023, with deaths exceeding births by 2 million, according to official data. The country recorded 11 million deaths against 9 million births, down from 9.6 million in 2022. the falling birth rate, aging population, and economic uncertainty have posed a challenge to Beijing as it grapples with a property downturn, weak exports, and low investor confidence. Experts have warned that China needs to revive growth factors to avoid a debt deflation spiral. Hang Seng Index's worst slump in 15 months has a silver lining. Bloomberg. The Hang Seng Index in Hong Kong has experienced its biggest fall in almost 15 months, pushing the gauge into oversold territory for the first time since August. According to Bloomberg data from the past decade, in similar situations the index has rebounded by an average of 3.7% over the next 10 days and 5.3% over the next 20 days. Hong Kong head coach Anderson playing AFC Asian Cup selection poker. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong national football team coach, Jordan Anderson, has been criticized for his decision to keep the injury-prone Juninho in his squad for the AFC Asian Cup. Juninho has managed just one start since being granted his Hong Kong passport in December, and is unlikely to feature in their final group game against Iran. However, Anderson believes that Juninho's quality could prove decisive in a potential knockout game, and opted to keep him in the squad. Why these Taiwanese Americans flew home to vote. BBC. Thousands of Taiwanese living abroad returned home to vote in the presidential election, which saw William Lai Ching-te of the ruling Democratic Progressive Party win a third term. The election was seen as a choice between peace and war with China, and many voters cited relations with China as a major factor. Some Taiwanese Americans also flew back to participate in the election, with one voter saying, "China thinks it owns Taiwan. We don't think so. We don't belong to you." The election also saw the emergence of the Taiwan People's Party as a serious contender. First FT, Iran strikes jihadi group in Pakistan. Financial Times. Iran has attacked Pakistani jihadi group Jaish-ul-Adl, escalating tensions between the two countries following similar attacks by Iran in Iraq and Syria. Pakistan has condemned the missile and drone strikes, which killed 2 children and injured 3. The country has recalled its ambassador from Iran and ordered the Iranian ambassador to Islamabad not to return for the time being. China's slumping commercial property market is attracting bargain hunters. Bloomberg. China's commercial real estate market is expected to attract more bargain hunters this year, following a slump in prices due to a slowing economy and oversupply. Prime office values in major cities have fallen by around 30% from pre-COVID levels, making them attractive opportunities for buyers. Global real estate funds have been selling off assets due to concerns over the Chinese economy and oversupply, contributing to the decline in prices. However, smaller deals have increased as private entrepreneurs and high-net-worth individuals start to buy the dip. Thailand's EV sales seem doubling as first homegrown models hit market. Bloomberg. Thailand's electric vehicle (EV) sales may double this year to over 150,000 units, as Chinese car manufacturers prepare to roll out their first locally manufactured models, and $2.4 billion in government incentives boost consumer demand, according to Krista Udamote, president of the Electric Vehicle Association of Thailand. At present, EVs account for 12% of total passenger car registrations. However, this is expected to rise to 20% this year and reach 30% by 2025, with up to 225,000 annual registrations. What is Taiwan's new president going to do about China? Foreign policy. The recent election in Taiwan, which saw Vice President Lai Ching-te of the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, emerge as the winner, has significant implications for cross-strait relations and Taiwan's security. Lai's victory may not be welcomed by China, as he is seen as a pro-independence supporter. However, Lai has softened his stance in recent years, emphasizing that Taiwan is already a sovereign state and independence is unnecessary. Nevertheless, concerns remain that a Lai presidency may worsen relations with China. A survey conducted prior to the election revealed that over 60% of Taiwanese are moderately to extremely concerned about an invasion by China. Concerns about conflict with China were found to align with partisan identity, with supporters of the DPP showing less concern and more confidence in U.S. defense commitments compared to supporters of other parties. This divergence in opinion between the U.S. and Taiwanese publics is noteworthy, as a majority of the U.S. public now supports defending Taiwan, while the majority of Taiwanese surveyed do not expect the U.S. to come to their defense. The Lai administration will face the challenge of building a consensus on the China threat, as opinions are deeply divided along party lines. The growing threat of China and the deterioration of cross-strait relations were key factors in the election, and the Lai administration will need to adopt a posture of strength while avoiding conflict. However, the changing composition and views of Taiwanese citizens may make this a difficult task. The new divided government, with the increased seat share of the Taiwan People's Party, TPP, may result in harsh rhetoric against China but more moderate government policies. Thursday briefing: Iran raises military threats. New York Times. Iran's defense minister has vowed that his country will not set any limits on using its capabilities against enemies whenever necessary. The statement comes a day after Iran launched missile strikes in neighboring Pakistan. The strikes have raised tensions in a region where conflict has now touched at least 5 nations. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your friendly neighborhood 6 doctor here, bringing you the latest news from the 6 degrees world. Today, we saw Hong Kong stocks rebounding from a 4-day slump, with the market deemed oversold and due for a reversal. Investment in Hong Kong property is expected to turn around in 2024, thanks to expected interest rate cuts and government initiatives. At the World Economic Forum in Davos, the focus was more on Hong Kong's economic development rather than the national security legislation. The Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge and the Kai Tak Cruise Terminal were criticized as white elephants, highlighting the need for better feasibility studies. Son Heung-min won the Asian Footballer Prize for the 7th year in a row, beating out Cristiano Ronaldo. China's declining population poses challenges amid a property downturn and weak exports. The Hang Seng Index's recent slump may have a silver lining, as historical data suggests a rebound is likely. Hong Kong football coach Jorn Anderson faced criticism for keeping an injury-prone player in the AFC Asian Cup squad. Taiwanese Americans flew home to vote in the presidential election, which saw William Lai Ching-te win a 3rd term. Stock markets faltered as U.S. retail sales data cast doubt on the possibility of a rate cut in March. Iran's attack on a Pakistani jihadi group has escalated tensions between the two countries. China's commercial property market is attracting bargain hunters due to a slump in prices. Thailand's electric vehicle sales are expected to double this year, driven by incentives and the introduction of locally manufactured models. Taiwan's new president will face the challenge of building a consensus on the China threat, as opinions are divided along party lines. And finally, Iran's defense minister has vowed to use its capabilities against enemies whenever necessary, raising tensions in the region. Now, let's dive into these stories a bit deeper. Hong Kong stocks took a breather today after a 4-day slump, with the market being deemed oversold. It's like when you eat too much dim sum in one sitting, sometimes you just need a little break to digest. Investment in Hong Kong property is expected to improve in 2024, thanks to expected interest rate cuts and government initiatives. It's like when you finally get a discount on that designer handbag you've had your eye on, it's time to open up your wallet. At the World Economic Forum in Davos, the focus was more on Hong Kong's economic development than the national security legislation. It's like when you go to a fancy dinner party and everyone is more interested in the chocolate fountain than the main course. Priorities, am I right? The Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge and the Kai Tak Cruise Terminal were criticized as white elephants, highlighting the need for better feasibility studies. It's like when you buy that fancy kitchen gadget that ends up collecting dust in the back of your cupboard, sometimes you just need to think things through before splurging. Son Heung-min won the Asian Footballer Prize for the 7th year in a row, beating out Cristiano Ronaldo. It's like when your favorite K-pop star wins another award and you can't help but celebrate. Go Son, go. China's declining population poses challenges amid a property downturn and weak exports. It's like when you're trying to throw a party but no one RSVPs, sometimes you just have to find a way to get more people in the door. The Hang Seng Index's recent slump may have a silver lining, as historical data suggests a rebound is likely. It's like when you fall down, but then you bounce right back up. Keep your chin up, Hang Seng. Hong Kong football coach Jorn Anderson faced criticism for keeping an injury-prone player in the AFC Asian Cup squad. It's like when you're playing poker and you decide to keep that risky card, sometimes you have to take a gamble. Taiwanese Americans flew home to vote in the presidential election, showing their commitment to their home country. It's like when you travel halfway around the world to attend your best friend's wedding, loyalty knows no bounds. Stock markets faltered as U.S. retail sales data cast doubt on the possibility of a rate cut in March. It's like when your favorite band cancels their concert at the last minute, disappointment is the name of the game. Iran's attack on a Pakistani jihadi group has escalated tensions in the region. It's like when your neighbor's dog keeps barking and you decide to retaliate, things can quickly spiral out of control. China's commercial property market is attracting bargain hunters due to a slump in prices. It's like when you find an amazing deal at the flea market and you walk away feeling like a winner. Who doesn't love a good bargain? Thailand's electric vehicle sales are expected to double this year, driven by incentives and the introduction of locally manufactured models. It's like when you finally upgrade from your old clunky car to a shiny new electric vehicle. The future is here. Taiwan's new president will face the challenge of building a consensus on the China threat, as opinions are divided along party lines. It's like when you're trying to plan a family vacation and everyone wants to go to a different destination, finding common ground can be tough. And finally, Iran's defense minister has vowed to use its capabilities against enemies whenever necessary, raising tensions in the region. It's like when you're playing a game of chess and your opponent makes a bold move, the stakes are high, and the tension is real. Phew, that was quite a news roundup. Now it's time for you, my lovely viewers, to join in on the fun. What are your thoughts on these stories? Do you think the Hong Kong stock market will continue to rebound? Are you excited about the potential turnaround in the property market? And what about Taiwan's new president? How will she handle the challenges of cross-strait relations? I want to hear it all, so don't be shy. Leave your comments and questions below, and let's keep the discussion going. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the 6 Degrees world. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.